There is a certain competition inside my skull. Insecurities used to make me crazy, now just make me dull. So I'm scouting in a western void, searching for relief. You can check out earning and time while you're young.
Bring it.
The body has died, and all the subside. With crystal and nothing wants to death calls right.
Hi, I'm Chris Lawyer from the weight room in Richmond, Virginia, down at CrossFitter with Danny Clingenpeel, national level strongman and veteran strength coach, to go over tire flipping. When moving odd objects, the key point is to get the athlete as close to the object and under it as possible. We're not trying to lift the tire, we're trying to drive the tire over itself. To do that, Danny's going to set up with a wide grip, his feet in a good strong position to drive through the tire, and we're going to go halfway here. He's going to stand it up so you can see the tire's on his body. This is the point at which you're going to extend and pop the tire up and catch it just like you would a clean. And pop it up, good. That's proper tire flips. It's going to be the most efficient way to get that tire to turn over itself. Let's do one flip all the way over. Good. All right, set up tight, shoulders tight down into the tire. Chin's going to be on if the tire's big enough, all the way through. Notice how Danny stays with the tire. We'll go over that later, but that's a key point in competition for getting efficient flips together. When competing or training the tire for multiple reps, you want to stay as efficient and tight to the tire as possible. So even after you've delivered the extension and pushed the tire over, you want to try to get a square landing. Another reason it's important to keep the feet square and drive the hip through the tire every time. See how Danny stays tight to the tire, keeps his hands on the implement, lands flush, ready for the next flip, back to it, flush, good. Nicely done. Now that we've gone over the best way to flip a tire and how to string together efficient flips in competition, sometimes reality will make for a larger implement than you can flip that way. So a lot of people will resort to using a knee or lifting a leg. That's an unsafe and inefficient way to flip a tire. I'm going to have Danny show you what that looks like and make the point that he is flipping this thing on one foot. If the tire is actually so heavy you can't flip it correctly, that's not going to be a safe or efficient way to turn it over. It may work for you or for some people, but it is a little bit more risk than it's worth. Here's what to do when you have a heavy tire and need to split the feet to get your center of gravity through the implement a little bit. You'll come up and you fail here, so you get under the tire, work yourself under it, and then continue to use the body to move the tire up. Again, trying to get your center of gravity into or under that implement as best as possible and work it up so you can flip it without wasting any energy. Another common mistake in flipping the tire is approaching it like a deadlift, trying to lift the tire in the hands. Leads to one of the more common injuries in strongman, which is a torn bicep. So the mistake here would be to take the weight in the hands, not driving the body. And you'll see how he stands there, just pulls with that bent arm, trying to lift with the hands. Correcting to get the body on there is sort of an instinct for Danny, but somebody with less technique and less practice will try to throw that weight out of the hands. Doing that puts a ton of stress in the bicep and is way more risk than it's worth. If you can't lift the tire correctly, then you want to pull back, set your body up, and work more on getting that knee under there, penetrating as we showed in the previous clip. Again, I'm Chris Lawyer and Danny Clingenpeel from the weight room. This was efficient tire flipping, some of the do's and don'ts of how to train and compete in this event. Please subscribe to the YouTube page and check back next week for our techniques on the farmer's walk.
The fever rages on.